Welcome to this edition of Weather to Watch. We're rapidly coming in on the closing days of April. It's the 29th, and it's a Tuesday. Let's get right into the severe weather. Well, welcome to Tuesday. Still an active pattern of weather. Now, on a positive note, the northern plains have cleared out very nicely here. Very nice air through Nebraska, where they had tornadoes in the panhandle just the other day. And through Minnesota, where they had a big severe weather threat yesterday. That's all nice. But you can clearly see there's a zone right in through here where the severe weather is still ongoing. We have one pretty sharp trough of low pressure right here moving through the Great Lakes state, helping to activate some of those storms. We'll zoom in on that in just a second. And another storm in the upper atmosphere that's cut off, that's also responsible for the winds passing over the high plains of Texas there, with more of a severe weather threat. Well, that one system in the Great Lakes is helping to drive this cold front right here through Detroit and eventually through Ohio and into New York and Pennsylvania later on tonight. A little wave along the front there, another one in Canada up here, and one more back here in Texas. And all those are pretty significant. And the thunderstorms themselves have actually helped to form where these frontal boundaries end up. And there's that high pressure area that's responsible for the nice weather in the Great Plains. But let's go to the northeast, look at the satellite image here, the loop. You can see the bubbling tops of some of these storms here. This squall line, I'll show you the radar review in a second, and just race through Pittsburgh and broken lines of storms all the way into western New York State as well. And then we'll shift gears to the other part of the front down here in Texas. Very unmistakable billowing tops. And look at this bubbling that occurs right here. These are overshooting tops on storms. Wait till that stops right where I circled. What that means is that an anvil on a thunderstorm naturally stops the flow from going up. It's a natural lid at the top of the troposphere. But if updrafts and storms are sufficiently vigorous, they just say, I don't care, and they blast right through that. So that's what you see right there. There's also even evidence of gravity waves that are moving out of these rapidly developing storms. And if I can draw that in, I will here. But it's these little, you can see it's very subtle, but you can see them racing through the clouds like that. So really interesting. Here's a review of at least the watches. So we have severe thunderstorm watches all the way from upstate New York down to southern Illinois. And then we have more severe thunderstorm watches in the high part of Texas up to Oklahoma City. And then this right here is a flood watch that's in effect for more rain to come. We have this elongated area of severe weather. We'll just kind of go on down the line. And this is New York State here, active squall lines going on. If you see the yellow box, that's wind damage. The diamonds are hail. We could take a sample of one of those right there. We had 1 inch hail at Warsaw, New York. There are thunderstorms that are ongoing in Ontario, just over north of the lakes there. Those left some storm damage reports north of Detroit and also some hail there in southern Michigan. Then we have this squall line that's racing through Pittsburgh, already through with a lot of wind reports and wind damage reports. Again, those are the boxes. That can be traced all the way back through Ohio into Indiana. This is another area of squall line, and this is actually very important. I live in Springfield, Missouri. I'm getting to it, but this is what moved through our area this morning. Pretty incredible with some good hail and wind reports. But look at here, this little cluster. It doesn't look all that significant. I'm going to zoom in here, hopefully, if this doesn't treat me badly here, and show you some of these reports. In particular, this one right here is a 64 mile per hour wind gust, but it gets better than that. Should be on here. Yeah, here it is. That's a 90 mile, actually, I think it's a 91 mile per hour wind gust they finally determined at the Springfield Branson Regional Airport. Again, I live in Springfield, so, and I'm pretty sure there were at least 3 or 4 small tornadoes in the area this morning, along with the wind. It was one of those bookend vortices with the comma head that on a larger scale would be called the derecho, but this was kind of smaller, although it's almost fitting the criteria. Is there more of that activity? Yes, there is. Actually, there's more activity down here in Texas, and now we're starting to get into some of these large hail reports. If you see the echoes that have the white and even the purple in them, you're seeing 2 inch hail being reported there. And it looks like similar totals there, 1.5 inch hail down in Texas as well. 3 out of 5 risk of severe weather from Louisville up to the middle part of New York State. including Pittsburgh. They've already seen their squall line. And then this area down here in Texas, not surprising considering what I just showed you on the satellite images. And this continues. So there is a 2 out of 5 risk and a 1 out of 5 risk in a large area for Wednesday. The greater area, the 2, touches right up against the Missouri-Arkansas border and includes places like Little Rock and Dallas. And then we continued to go on here on Thursday, still an elongated area of the lowest possible risk from Buffalo, New York, right through the heart of Kentucky and Tennessee, ending up in Austin. And I'll show you the 500 millibar loop here in a second and show you why that area of thunderstorms is still in play. Well, because that upper level low that I'll show you here in a minute is very slow moving, we've got heavy rain potential. In fact, some of this area right around Wichita Falls, those are 7-inch rain totals here over the next 5 days. I really apologize for my mouse. I think my mouse is actually losing its mind, so it jumps around the screen a lot. So I probably will stop trying to circle things. But you can see if it's red there, it's 3 inches, and purple is 1.5 inches. So a lot of rainfall expected over the next 5 days from Arkansas down into parts of Texas. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Here's a look at the 500 millibar flow. It's a good approximation of where the jet stream is and where storm systems are. And you can see that huge area of very strong winds from Lake Michigan and Wisconsin up to, north of New England, really. That and along the edge of that is where some of that severe weather is occurring. Then we have this secondary area back here spinning low over northern Arizona with more winds coming into Texas. You saw the effects of that with the thunderstorms down there. This system is still moving, so we're still looking at that severe thunderstorm that I talked about, and areas just out ahead of that, Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. For the next couple of days as that system continues to lift out. And then we have a system diving into Iowa there, Nebraska. See that right there? That's a cold front. So that's going to help to stabilize the atmosphere. We do have a low over Southern California and Arizona, but that one gets kind of damped out, flattened out a little bit. And a nice ridge of high pressure right there builds in from southern Canada all the way through the Great Plains, all the way down to the Gulf Coast. That's a welcome relief from rain and thunderstorm activity there. But notice there's already another jet stream circulation coming ashore, actually pretty far south of California itself, really the strongest winds. And that is going to be another one of these interesting bowling ball storms that comes into the southwest. It's cutting itself off. This one seems like it establishes a north-south flow over the plains. This is Tuesday, so it's about a week away. So there's, again, more fantasy built into this every single time I move the mouse. But this one looks a little different. This would support severe weather in the high plains and, again, repeated rains in some areas. So that's the reason why what I'm going to show you here is the 6 to 10 day rainfall outlook, and you can see a little bit why that might be the case. 1. And finally, I'll take a look at the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook that starts this Sunday and goes through Thursday. So basically next week, a lot of warm air in the northern plains indicated by that orange shading. The effects of those cutoff lows and the showers and the clouds is evident in Arizona and New Mexico, and a little below normal maybe in Miami during that time period. And as far as the rainfall goes, that flow that I showed you with that next storm next week, remember I showed you it was going from north to south, so that's going to lead to heavy rains along that boundary as moisture from the Gulf is basically fed into that. So West Texas all the way up to the Dakotas really expecting a slightly above normal rain pattern. And by the way, May's temperatures look warm in the south western United States and about average across the Midwest and the Northeast. And as far as precipitation for May is concerned, the outlook is like this, with heavy rain from Arkansas to Pennsylvania. That's going to work out right for now, but I think once that next low gets going, this outlook may need to be tweaked a little bit. It won't be. It's only issued once a month, but I'm not sure it'll be completely accurate in places like Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. I think they're going to receive above normal rain and already have. Thanks for watching this edition of Weather to Watch. It comes out every other day, or as the weather necessitates. Please remember to share this with your friends, subscribe to the channel, or at the very least, like what you just watched. Thanks.